Business Bites. Go further and grow stronger with InvestNI. Join local businesses generating billions exporting to Europe. Check your export readiness with InvestNI's free online export health check. Business Bites with InvestNI.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Bites. Now, what this man probably doesn't know about sports travel isn't worth knowing, I would say, for our guest this week. It is, of course, Managing Director of Sports Entertainment Tours, John Boyde. John, welcome to Business Bites.
Thank you very much for having me, Carla. Thanks for having me on.
No pressure there, no pressure at
No,
all.
none at all.
Setting you up in that way. John, let us know a little bit about you. I'm always fascinated, as I say in this series, to kind of find out the inspiration behind that entrepreneurial spirit, where ideas come from, and the growth, the start of companies and the growth of them. So tell us a little bit about you to begin with.
Yeah, I've worked in travel basically since leaving school. I initially wanted to do IT, but IT was sort of, you couldn't get a job in it. So the first job that came up was travel. And that was supposed to be a stopgap for a couple of weeks, but fast forward another 20 years and we're still here. But I worked in mostly corporate travel for probably the last 10 years. Previous to that, it was a tour operator. So it was totally different aspects of travel. And then whenever I moved over into the corporate world, that's whenever I started spotting the gap in the market for sports travel. So for sports teams traveling, and then also for corporate. So because we were dealing with corporates, they were wanting us to look after, can you get me tickets to this match? Can you get me tickets to here? And they were just so hard to source. So I sort of spotted a gap in the market there. And then COVID had hit and I was out of work, and I just thought this was the sort of time to give it a go and see if it would work or if it wouldn't work. And we sort of haven't looked back from then, really.
And obviously, I suppose the key to any success, particularly in travel and what you're doing now, is the build-up of those corporate relationships, isn't it?
It is, and that sort of was a good foundation to start this on because of the amount of sort of corporate contacts that we already had. So we sort of had those to go to and went, we can now offer X, Y, and Z. And then that's sort of, it spiraled once we came out of COVID. During COVID, it was a funny time because it gave us the time to actually set things up, set the relationships up in order to be able to source the tickets, get our hotel rates. And at that time, the hotel rates were really good because hotels were struggling. So they were giving us really good rates. So that then gave us sort of the foundation. Once things opened up, we were ready to go, and the corporates were coming at us because they had so many people working from home. So they were using it as a way to re-engage with their staff or a way to re-engage with their clients. So it sort of all just tied in then whenever things opened back up.
So tell us a little bit more then about Sports Entertainment Tours and what you actually do.
So there's not much we don't do in terms of sports. So we probably 80% of our customer is corporate based. And then we have our website's totally bookable. So we basically do packages to any sporting event that you can think of. So from this year alone, we've had people at the Super Bowl, the rugby, football, just any type of sport you can think of, we will generally have a package on for it. And even on our website now, we have that much that it's not actually all on there because we'd have probably a team of 5 people just sitting loading packages all day.
No guaranteed seats beside Taylor Swift, though, at the Super Bowl, I imagine.
No, we're not. We're good, but we're not quite that good.
I mean, obviously, the demand is there, the interest in sport and sports travel. I mean, who knew that sports travel was going to be such an industry, but it is growing, isn't it?
It really is going, especially even in the terms of the professional teams and the amateur teams, because a lot of those teams, it was down to the coach, or they maybe had one person in charge of looking after all that travel, which is a big job because from start to end, you're having to get all the options, source the right hotels, source the right flights, make sure everything ties in with all the fixtures. I mean, we go down to as far as making sure the guys are eating the right meals at the right times, pre-game, post-game. So there's a lot of work in sports travel. And there definitely was that gap there within Northern Ireland anyway, because we have so many great sports teams. Um, and we just feel that we're giving them an extra service that they weren't getting before.
A lot of logistics. You just need to
Yeah.
be very organized for that, John. Let's talk about some of those sports teams, because you do. I mean, the Belfast Giants. Can I start name dropping here, John?
Yeah, I mean, the Belfast Giants was really the first team that we looked after. And again, they were coming out of COVID, and they had sort of half a season still to go to book travel for. And Steve Thornton was very, very good with us. He gave us a lot of time. He let us look after the travel for the rest of the season. Once that season was then over, they basically asked us will we look at it after it full time. So we do all the travel now for the Belfast Giants, and the feedback there has been fantastic. And that's then led on to us getting other teams within the league and reaching out then to other teams in different sports, the likes of hockey, field hockey rather than the ice, cricket, netball. So there's a wide variety of teams now that we're managing travel for.
And of course, the Olympics and hockey as well. We're going to be represented there.
Yeah, we're very lucky this year. The men's senior team have qualified for the Olympics in Paris. So that's very exciting. We're doing all the travel. The fixture should be actually coming out the next few days for that one. And they actually now want us to start looking after all their fan travel as well. So we've done bits and pieces of that before with the fan travel. So that's going to be a big one for us. And then we do the Ireland cricket team, and they've qualified for the World Cup. So it's between the West Indies and the States. So that's going to be another fun one with logistics, let's say.
Do you get to go on any of these, John? Do you have to try and test the routes out first?
I'm trying to push that now. The more we go, I'm trying to go over and see, will this hotel suit, will that hotel suit? But not at the minute. I'd love to, though.
There's no time, obviously. Let's
Yeah.
also talk about another arm of the business, and that is the sports pro travel. Now, that's something a little bit different, isn't it?
It is different. That's the side of it where we're managing all the sports teams. So that has just gone, it's just grown so much over the last probably 10 months. Where teams are now coming to us and asking us to manage their travel, where before I would have been sort of kicking doors in and trying to say, hello, we're here, well, this is what we do. I think it's just Ireland's just such a small network of people that they move from team to team as well. And it obviously shows that we're doing something right, because they're starting to come to us now rather than the other way around.
Absolutely. And lots of major sporting events happening here too. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of people coming to Northern Ireland. We've spoken about, those leaving, but lots of people coming to Northern Ireland too. Of course, the Open, to mention one.
Yeah, the Open, we've got a lot of inquiries for that already for 2025. And we've done a good few bookings for that. And then further afield, there's the Europa League finals coming to Dublin this year. The Champions League final is going to Wembley Stadium. So there's a lot happening sort of within the vicinity. So demand is just getting ever more and more.
Absolutely, and long may it continue. And I think our love of sport has no signs of waning. John, thank you so much for joining us. John Boyde, Managing Director of Sports Entertainment Tours, and thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.
Business Bites. Go further and grow stronger with Invest NI. Join local businesses generating billions, exporting to Europe. Check your export readiness with Invest NI's free online export health check. Business Bites with Invest NI.